Dixie here. Today I want to talk to you about my favorite backpacking quilt. 5 years ago, I did a My Favorite Gear series, but I haven't really done an update to that series until recently. So if you want to see the other more up-to-date videos, I will link to those in the video description, but seeing as it's been 5 years, it was kind of time for an update. In fact, back when I made my last favorite quilt video, I hadn't yet switched from down to synthetic fill. That's because I didn't know yet that I was allergic to down. I did know that I often got a puffy face while I was backpacking, and I think that there are multiple contributing factors to that, but one of the big things is I found out later that I'm allergic to down, and when I would burrow my face down in it, it made my face puff up. So since I've made the switch to a synthetic quilt, I've been using the Enlightened Equipment Apex Enigma Custom. With Enlightened Equipment, you can get some quilts in stock, but to order one where you get to customize all sorts of different things, there is more of a significant lead time. So if you order something they have in stock, you're looking at receiving it right now in about 7 business days. If you order a quilt that you customize, there's like an 11-week lead time at this current time. So that's just something to know ahead of time. I wouldn't bank on ordering something already in stock if you're like, oh, I'm not that picky. Just be aware of that and, plan ahead if possible. But man, all the stuff that you get to customize with one of their quilts, I really, really like. You get to customize the length, the width, the temperature rating, like I mentioned before, the color and denier of the fabric on the outside and the inside. And of course, all of these different options play into what the final weight of your quilt will be. The options that I picked for my quilt were the regular length, the slim width, and I went with 10 denier fabric on the outside and the inside. I remember being worried that I might need 20 denier on the outside just to make it more durable to abrasion against my sleeping pad, but I have had no issues with that, and I've been using this quilt predominantly for the last 4 years. I went with the 20-degree option because I am somebody who is consistently cold, like in all seasons in general. So knowing that some of my thru hikes have certainly been below freezing temperatures before I was able to finish, or even when I began my thru hikes, I knew I wanted this quilt to be able to serve me during a thru hike. So anyway, 20 degrees was the lowest synthetic quilt rating that they had. If they had had a 10, I'd have gone with that. So the total weight for the way I customized my bag came out to be 26.8 ounces, and it cost me $230. As I mentioned, this quilt uses Apex insulation. There is another type of synthetic insulation that you might see in backpacking quilts. There's one called UP insulation, and from what I understand, it more or less behaves like down more so than Apex. Apex is like a solid sheet in the quilt, and UP is apparently more of a floofy type thing. But it wasn't the insulating material that really made me choose this quilt. It was considering total weight of a quilt for me, because I don't like to carry extra weight if I don't need to. So especially with all of the camera equipment I tote. So with the way I was able to customize this quilt, specifically because I was able to choose a slim option, this quilt was several ounces lighter than any other quilt I could find on the market made from UP insulation. And at the end of the day, your synthetic insulated quilt or sleeping bag is going to be bulkier and heavier. It will be cheaper also than down quilts. It's not going to be as packable. But another pro is that if it gets wet, synthetic insulation does still have some insulating properties, where down, is pretty much useless if it gets wet. So there are pros and cons. I have, like I said, used this quilt for 4 years. I do really like it. It was not worth it to me to try to go with a heavier quilt to see if I would like it as much. But I will say it really doesn't hold a candle to my old down bag. I had a Catabatic quilt that I really, really loved a lot. And this one is not as warm and cozy as that one is, but synthetic is not going to be as warm and cozy as down. But I do like this quilt, and because it's my favorite of the ones that I can currently use without my face swelling up, it is currently my favorite quilt and my go-to quilt. But I do love that my face is not swelling up as bad when I go backpacking. There was one time in the Tetons that it swelled up scary, puffy. I looked like the pigeon lady from Home Alone, as Aaron pointed out one time. But with that said, I would at some point like to maybe start slowly acclimating myself just by exposure, you know, maybe slow exposure to down, maybe sleeping with my down booties to start with. I don't know if anyone's ever done this and had success with it, let me know how it worked out for you, but I would eventually like to be able to use down again. It's just the bomb diggity. I also switched from a down jacket, sadly, to the Enlightened Equipment Apex Women's Tour jacket. Again, I like this jacket. I've been using it steadily for the past 4 years. It's my go-to. I haven't tried to find another one and switch it up or anything like that. But while I like it and it has served me well, kept me warm, it's just not as warm and cozy and furnacey as the Montbell Plasma 1000 parka that I had before. That was like wearing a cloud. But I do really love that the Enlightened Equipment Women's Tour jacket does have customizable options just like the quilts do. You get to choose the fabric on the outside and the inside. You get to choose whether you want a collar or a hood. And so I chose a medium with a hood, and again went with tendinier on the outside and inside. And happy to report this jacket has also held up throughout the years. So I'm not super gentle on stuff. And tendinier has been fine for me. The total weight of that coat is 7.75 ounces, and it cost me $175. So those are my current favorite selections as far as my quilt and puffy jacket go. If y'all have any other synthetic options that you truly love, I would be happy to hear about those in the comments below. I am always willing to switch it up and test out new gear, although these, like I said, are my go-tos at the current time. I do really like them. But thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, especially if you want to swap from down to synthetic, whether that's for ethical reasons or allergy reasons, whatever. But thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see y'all next time.